Malik Nabers is a sick player. This guy is really, really good. The usage is so good with Malik Nabers right now. They move him around to all the positions. He plays X, he plays flanker, he plays the slot. If Marvin Harrison or Roma Dunze were playing in this offense with the Giants, they would not be putting up the numbers that Malik Nabers is putting up right now.
Look at the release.
There's your separation.
Great route.
Stutter and go. Gets by clean.
That is unbelievable.
Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Malik Nabers, we talked about it a little bit before. He's the wide receiver 1.1 in fantasy football right now. He's making plays each and every week, and my goodness gracious, man. Malik Nabers, is he actually this guy? Is he this dominant dude that we are seeing in front of us, or is some of it just matchups and some good breaks as well?
Well, first of all, yeah, obviously play Commanders in week 2. That's going to be a part of it. That's going to be a part of boosting any receiver's numbers. Dude, any receiver goes against the Commanders, any number one receiver, they're going to light him up. It's been like a trend, even back to last year with a completely different coaching staff. But that's been the case so far. Jamar Chase finally, what's up with Jamar Chase? Well, he plays the Commanders. No one cares anymore.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. So that's going to boost any receiver numbers. But Malik Nabers is a sick player. This guy is really, really good. All the reasons that you would like him in college are apparent on the NFL field right away. So I went and charted his week 3 game against the Browns.
Nice.
Just for one, the usage is so good with Malik Nabers right now. I think and I said this at the time after week 1 against the Vikings might have the best defense in the league, and it might be the hardest defense to go against for any team in the league right now. Certainly if you're Daniel Jones, but I thought they were a little too Wan'Dale Robinson-y in the first game,
Sure.
where it was just a lot of like little gimme stuff to Robinson, trying to, with an aggressive defensive play caller back there, mixing things up and all that. So, but they've eased away from that, I think, as the games have gone on. Robinson still has a nice role. He's a good little layup receiver every now and again. But like this passing game should be all based around Malik Nabers all the time. And you look at pretty much any usage stat, that is the case. I mean, he's running away with a bunch of different volume metrics. And I think that was a good thing after week 1 to just make this more about him. He plays in week 3, about half his snaps off the line, half his snaps on the line. They move him around to all the positions. He plays X, he plays flanker, he plays the slot. He's not a full-time slot player, but he's definitely an over 20% slot player. He gets in the backfield some. So that right there, the usage is great. They have him running so many just slant routes, drag routes, get him right into Daniel Jones's vision so he can pin that ball on him. But man, there are other times too where just from just a man cover standpoint, I don't think he is a perfect route runner yet. Reminds me a little bit, and this is who I kind of compared him to pre-draft. It reminds me a little bit of Garret Wilson in his like rookie season, where the route running isn't all the way there, but the separation is there because he's just so darn explosive. So when I say that like the route running isn't all the way there for Malik Nabers yet, it wasn't all the way there for Garret Wilson in week 1. In week 1, like very early of his rookie season, it's certainly there now at this point. Like this guy can just get better and better and better, which is scary to say because he's already a great player. His first touchdown, though, this is the area where I think Nabers has impressed me maybe more than I expected.
Okay,
as a prospect. Is for one, I think is Martin Emerson's the Browns corner covering him on his first touchdown, and he just like sells him a little bit to nothing fancy, but just like sells him a little bit to the inside and snaps the route outside. And the way he contorts his body at the catch point is just like unbelievable. It was really I think it was like an all out outrageous play. How much separation he was able to get, and then still it's not the the easiest pass to catch. He's got to contort himself on the sideline. That's where it's just been like, oh my God, this guy's like he's a natural wide receiver is what I would say about Malik Nabers. So, he's been one of the most impressive producers in the NFL, certainly against a very good defense in the Browns. The charting data shows he has been working for that. So I think there's a lot going on here. Scheme, definitely. The fact that there is no one else they should be prioritizing, and they are prioritizing their best player. That's good to see. And you just got a guy who, like Daniel Jones, is not a good quarterback, but like a functional quarterback, and he can deliver the ball to Malik Nabers. That is kind of in concert here. in addition to Malik Nabers just being an outrageous player.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, what an interesting guy, because I know people want to rag on him and say he's, they got to make a quarterback change or he's not worth it. Or he's not worth the contract. That much is apparent.
Right.
That much is apparent. But as we saw in Carolina, when you get a functional quarterback in there, certain things can be unlocked. Certain things can happen. And what I will say about Daniel Jones is he's not an accurate quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. He makes bad throws routinely. But I do think he's got the arm talent to be able to get that ball anywhere on the field. And I know that's like such a low bar and low threshold, Matt. But as we saw in Miami, okay, when you don't have a guy that can actually put the ball in certain spots on the field, the defense is just going to win. But I am saying that he can get the ball to any part of the football field, and I think that has helped Malik Nabers too.
No, you're being fair. You're being completely fair about Daniel Jones, which I think most people just lump all bad quarterbacks in together. And this is especially true when we're talking about receivers. Like, oh, this guy doesn't have a great quarterback situation. Like, Malik Nabers does not have a great quarterback situation. Let's be super clear about that.
Right.
But I did say when he was drafted by the Giants, like, I know I said this on my Yahoo show. I might have said it on our post-draft show, that he was uniquely skilled to survive in this landing spot. Not thrive, but survive in this landing spot, because he is not Marvin Harrison or Rome Odunze, these like classic boundary X receivers. Look, like if Marvin Harrison or Rome Odunze were playing in this offense with the Giants, they would not be putting up the numbers that Malik Nabers is putting up right now. And that doesn't mean that Malik Nabers is better than those guys or whatever. It's just the way you're going to use Malik Nabers is so much more conducive to a quarterback like Daniel Jones, because of the ways you can scheme him up, because of the ways you can get him off the line of scrimmage, because he can make plays in the open field. He can, like I said, run, just immediately get open, like rifle himself open against zone coverage and just be there for Daniel Jones. And he can do something after the catch with it. Like those type, I wrote a piece on the website about Khalil Shakir and sort of talking about this type of receiver. And like, Malik Nabers
by the way, very prescient. It was very good because Khalil Shakir had another great game on Monday night. So I love that.
Well, Shakir's a baller, bro. I mean, but he is sort of this archetype of receiver that I think is very, very valuable in today's NFL. And I think Malik Nabers is sort of the peak of this archetype. It goes beyond just this archetype, but because, and I think this was obviously in the scouting process, something to consider with Malik Nabers is that, yeah, he could go to this offense and thrive because of this. But what I mean by all this quarterback stuff is like we group bad quarterbacks together, but not all bad quarterbacks are created equal. Like,
yeah, right.
Daniel Jones is much better than like Zach Wilson or Desmond Ridder, these guys that, Drake London or Garret Wilson have had to play with. Like those guys, you can't run a functional NFL offense with those guys. You can't really run a good offense with Daniel Jones, but we've seen you can get too functional with this guy. You got to do a lot of work. You got to do a lot of smoke and mirrors. But like that's good coaching, right? That's what good coaching is about. That's what good schematic work on offense is about. And when you have somebody on the other end of those smoke and mirrors plays like Malik Nabers, who can also win with no smoke, no mirrors, just go out against your guy. I mean, this one pass that Nabers did not bring in because Jones missed him on it. I mean, he just gets on top of the corner so quick because he's so explosive. I would say he's a good route runner. Like I said, he can get even better, but he's already a good there, especially against press man. That's just, then you have that, like you can create something here. Like the Giants aren't going to be a good team. They're not going to be a great offense. But Daniel Jones is enough to get Malik Nabers the ball. And I mean, who cares otherwise?